Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back with another Simple Truth news update. I have a question for you. Could it at all be possible that the government that is in authority over us here in the United States ever consider doing something as terrible as selling the people at large down the river? Do you think that that's even a remote possibility? Well, I came across a very, very interesting video here on YouTube, and the video depicts a situation. Now, I'm not counting this situation as fact, but what I will do is I will share with you how things that have happened in Hollywood are eerily similar to what has happened as far as the reportings of things that are going on.
Hillary Clinton recently, it was reported, and I want to get your take on this, Bob, in Beijing, China, where she was over there to broker a deal on any future borrowing that we might do from China by way of bonds, treasuries. And, well, there's a little caveat that was thrown in this. If the United States defaults on this, and we're talking trillions of dollars, that there's a little thing that the United States government will institute called eminent domain to pay the Chinese back with real estate. Have you heard anything on this, Bob?
Oh, yes. And it's possible and it's probable.
As the presidents began their first session, Mr. Obama assured Mr. Xi that the United States welcomes the peaceful rise of China as a world power.
And the United States seeks an international economy and international economic order.
It says that our president, Barack Hussein Obama, has given China permission that if the American dollar dies, and that if is something that we know is more than an if, it is more so a when the American dollar dies, that the Chinese military has been given permission to be able to come in and basically call in the marker of the debt that the United States has with China and be able to basically be in charge of citizens or people. Let me use that better word, people here in the United States. It's as if we, as human beings, have been used as collateral on debt that the United States government has fallen prey to and victim to because of its mismanagement of funds and its horrible way of accounting with the economy. It's basically like you become a slave if you don't balance your checkbook correctly. Well, let me say this. You don't become the slave. Your children become the slave. You spend money the way you choose, and you sign a paper that says, basically, you're allowed to spend money any way you want. But if you don't get it right or you can't pay it back, your children are going to be seized as collateral for the mistakes, the fiscal mistakes that you have made. Ladies and gentlemen, it is amazing how these things are happening, but yet people are continuing to go about their everyday lives. They're continuing to watch the latest reality show, the latest football game, the latest basketball game, the latest golf tournament, tennis tournament, or the big one, I just have to go to work. I have bills to pay. it just amazes me. I get tongue-tied when I think of the fact that we have become so distracted by the things and our yearning and desire to get those things, that every important other happenings are being ignored. Now, you heard me earlier say that Hollywood has done something that is eerily similar to the situation that I am expressing here. Well, there was a remake of the 1980s film Red Dawn. Now, if you're in my age group, you remember Red Dawn. It was a bunch of teenagers that lived in a mountain, little town, and the Russians invaded the United States, and they became using guerrilla warfare tactics. These teenagers became rebels against this invasion. Well, just a few years ago, there was a new remake of this same movie, and now what has happened is we have the North Koreans invading the United States, and they are, come in. Military force and putting people in concentration camps, i.e. prison camps in some instances, and then taking over towns and having to be, their movements being tracked.
No, there is a bigger picture here. They had to have had help.
Think it's like this everywhere?
I don't think they'd come all this way just for Spokane and Seattle.
Where do you think Dad is?
Probably down there. With anyone else they think is a threat or they can get information from.
Here is the key thing. When this movie was set to be released originally, the enemy in the film was China. Kind of ironic. But it went back, the movie was pulled back, and it wasn't released when it was supposed to be released, and they went back and began to re-edit the film. And the reason they stated the reason that they went to re-edit the film is, number one, that they did not want to negatively depict China as being someone that would do such a thing. But then also, here's the key thing, it's not always on how, as a country, how they feel people will react to something. It all comes down to the mighty dollar, the money. See, China, when the movie when it's internationally released, China is one of the biggest international box offices for any movies that are released in the United States. So that's another reason why they did not want to depict China with this black eye or with this negativity. So what they did is they went in and they did some editing and changed all of the markings that were on the flags, that were on the different military equipment. They changed it from being China to being North Korea. Now the question you have to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, is why is reality closely mimicking what Hollywood has already done? Or is it vice versa? Is Hollywood mimicking what is actually going to happen? That is a question for only you to answer. For you to do your own due diligence, for you to look into things and ask such questions. But I know. That is nowhere near important. I've got to be at work. I've got dinner to make. I've got football games, softball games. I've got track and field. I've got all this to worry about with my children. My favorite television show is coming on. I can't be bothered with that. I know what it is. I need my time. I work hard every day. Jermaine, I need my time to just relax and just have me time. Well, the simple truth of the whole matter is, if you continue to worry about the things that you are doing, that you are putting in front of the things that you should know more about, when or even if, notice, ladies and gentlemen, I said when first, because I truly believe that a lot of things that we are seeing that are being fictionally depicted are going to come into reality, and a lot of people are going to be shocked, amazed, and in awe when it actually comes about. But when, or if you need a little bit more subtlety, if these things happen, the simple truth of the whole matter is, you should not complain. You should just take what comes with no problem, because what you wanted to do was more important than being aware of what might or could actually happen. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of The Simple Truth. And as I always tell you, it's the simple things that are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they're the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I'll see you, and I'll see you again real soon.